May 1985. Ronald Reagan was 4 months into his second term. Beverly Hills Cop and Rambo First Blood Part 2 were tops at the box office. The song We Are the World, love that one. That was #1 on the charts, and I was a newborn baby.
So, wow, and I was a brand new newlywed at that time. But also in May of 1985, we're talking about Linda Watkins-Bennett, our anchor here. She was just starting her job at KHSL Channel 12.
That is 40 years of bringing you the news right here, longer than any other employee of Action News Now ever.
Yeah, so to be clear, she's not going anywhere, she's not retiring, but tonight we want to pay tribute to Linda and her remarkable 40 years and counting.
Hi, guys.
Places, everyone. It's 10 minutes to air, and the longest-serving employee in Action News Now's 72-year history is making her way to the studio.
Hey, Howie.
Linda Watkins-Bennett gets set for what's probably her 10 zillionth newscast.
We're good on Blake's live shot, and we do have breaking news right up at the top of the show.
2 men accused of a double homicide during a suspected drug and gun deal gone wrong will stand trial for murder.
It's hard to imagine there was ever a time when Linda wasn't delivering the news to Northern California, but everything has a beginning.
That didn't stop thousands of people from enjoying Johnny Appleseed Day today.
And for Linda, her Action News Now beginning was 1985.
Reporting live in Red Bluff, I'm Linda Watkins-Bennett. Back to you in the studio.
Of course, at 23, I think I thought I knew everything. And this job was very quick to remind me that I didn't. Because I quickly had to become an expert in things like government, our justice system, how the courts work, politics, local elections, you name it.
Linda is amazing. She is the girl next door. And the thing about Linda is over the 40 years that I've known her, Alan, she hasn't changed a bit.
Former anchor Debbie Cobb had been at the station for a couple of years when Linda arrived.
And so we just worked our butt off. And I thought, I don't know if this is going to work for her. She's too nice. But, it didn't take long before she caught on.
Reporting live from Disneyland, I'm Linda Watkins-Bennett. Back to you, Debbie.
All right, sounds like you're having lots of fun.
So what is it about this industry, this line of work that appeals to you?
I think, number one, it's not boring, and that's kind of why I went into it in the first place. Exciting. You never know from 1 minute to the next when you might have breaking news.
Debbie, a lot of tears are being shed here tonight for the victim.
Shedding tears is something Linda feels she should never do as a professional journalist, but it's not always easy. Linda was born and raised in Chico and says nothing in her 40 years has been tougher to report on than the 2018 Camp Fire.
We went 5 days nonstop, 24/7, but it also impacted me personally, and there was a lot of heartbreak. This happens every time I start to talk about it, but I think that story is probably one for a lifetime.
She is, to have somebody in this one market 40 years and with all the skin of the game that she has in this market, and it's appreciated.
Former news director and Chico resident Scott Howard says he leaned on Linda's local knowledge, experience, and compassion a lot.
Having her and her presence outside the community is just a great connection between this station and the North State. It always has been that way.
And after going on TV day after day, year after year, decade after decade, the community recognizes her value too.
But I get thanked a lot for still being here. Again, it's comforting, I think, for people to turn on the television and see somebody that they know and trust.
Don't worry, Linda is not retiring yet.
I don't know how much longer I'll be doing this, but I do still like it. Will I be ever able to fully step away? I don't know.
We all hope not, Linda.
Thank you for joining us. Stay right here for Action News Now at 5.
We hope not.
Ta-da!
Another one in the can for Linda Watkins-Bennett.
My zillionth, I think, right?
Gosh, yeah, that was the first time I actually got to watch that whole compilation through and see some of your reporting. Do you remember every one of those stories?
Not everyone. I remember my green London fog coat that I loved a lot, and I do remember covering rodeo for sure. Red Bluff Rodeo is near and dear to my heart. But I just had so many great stories that I've been able to cover. Going up in the air in helicopters, riding on speedboats, and I got to be in a circus. I mean, the list goes on, as you can imagine.
And another thing that we didn't talk about in that story, and you're well aware of this, Haley, is that how many people have come through, moved in, and moved on at this television station 40 years, and almost all of them, if not all of them, consider Linda kind of their work mom, and that's a responsibility, so to speak, that you've taken seriously.
It is, as I've gotten older, and so it seems like our reporters have gotten younger, but they're no younger than they always have been. But you just can't help but feel for the folks who are away from home for the first time, and you want them to succeed. They are our future journalists, and I love how so many folks have gone on to much bigger markets and continue to stay in the business after all these years.
Well, congratulations, Linda.
Thank you, Alan and Haley, and everyone. I really appreciate the appreciation.
And you're not going anywhere.
No, she's not going anywhere.
I'm not going
She's
anywhere.
not allowed. Definitely not.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.